Hi guys, very good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Channa.
Good afternoon. Looks like Sunday vibes are here. Only 3 people joined. Everyone is on Sunday mode.
Yeah, Channa. I think everybody's in a Sunday mood probably.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start today's session. Yesterday we have seen from statement, from instruction in Dockerfile. We will go forward and look about the remaining instructions in Docker, and we will complete Dockerfile today. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's start. Okay. Now take one example, maybe maintainer. Let's start with maintainer. So maintainer is like information that you want to pass to someone, like who built the image, who is responsible for this image, like something like that. Let's say if I talk about hub.docker.com, we are using Nginx from here. This is the Nginx official Docker image, right? We haven't built the image, right? If we want to see who has built the image, I mean to say who is responsible for this image, or is some information about the creator of this image, then that is where you can give in the build. The instruction is called maintainer. So the syntax is maintainer. Yeah, maintainer, and then any name that can be in small letters. Like let's say I have to use Gennaro, like this. You can use double quotes. Or if you want to pass some email ID, right? Maintainer, let's say xyz@email.com. What happened today? Email.com. Like this, if you want to pass some information, you can use. These are like just to tell I am the maintainer. This is my email ID. If you want to contact me, you can contact me using these details like that. If any additional information you want, he can contact on this mail ID like that. But whatever you give, you cannot write maintainer multiple times. Even if you technically you can write in the Dockerfile, you can write maintainer multiple times, like 3-4 times. Whatever the last one, that will be taken. So this will be ignored. The last one, if you write 10 such lines in Dockerfile, the last one will be picked up, and that is what shown in the Docker inspect image. If you inspect the image, these details will be present. These details will not be passed to the container level. This is only up to the image. If you create a container out of a image, then in that container, if you inspect the container, these details will not be visible, even if you inspect also, right? This is only for the image itself. This is nothing to do with anything. This is just an information. Even if you add, if you don't add, everything will work as is. This is just like a documentation purpose, right? Same. Let me show you. So yesterday we have written some Docker files here. So cd Docker files. We have started from scratch. Sorry. Docker file. Right here we are saying sleep for 1000 seconds. And here I can, anywhere you can write, not only here. But the only rule is every Docker file should start from instruction. Apart from this, anything can go anywhere. You can write, let's say if CMD is here, you can write here also. Here, maintainer. There is no restriction on that part. But the starting should be from. That is one basic rule. Remaining things can go here and there on line number 2 or line number 5 or 10, 20, wherever it is. So maintainer, let's say I want to give Chenna, right? Or let me add one more. Maintainer. Let's say XYZ at email.me. Or maybe you can give as a key value pair also, like not key value pair, multiple here itself. Let's say I want to give like this. Let's see what happens if I give like this. If I give like this, what will happen? Let's build the image. Docker build -t. Let's say I want to build it as test:1. Test:1. One is the tag. If I am giving, I'm not giving any registry name here. If I don't give registry, what will happen? You cannot able to push, but the image will work as is. You can later use data tag and then you can push it. Only thing, you cannot push it if the registry is not there. In this case, I don't require registry just for our testing purpose. It is saying maintainer is deprecated now. Use latest ones. So I know maintainer is not, no one is going to use maintainer now. Just it is still there. If you see old files, Docker files, there is maintainer. So that's why I'm explaining. The latest one is label. Instead of maintainer, you can use label. Okay, anyway, if I inspect now, Docker inspect test:1. This is the image. If you search here, only Chenna XYZ is available. Chenna Rao, which is there, will not be available. It is, you have added as a maintainer in the Docker file. Here, it comes as an author. Author, Chenna XYZ. Why Chenna XYZ is there? Cat, your Docker file, you will understand. This is represented in single line in one maintainer instruction. Right? Previous one is ignored now. Chenna Rao is ignored. Only this one is visible for us. Like this. Or if you don't want spaces, if you don't use spaces between, everything is inside one double quotes, then you will not see these slashes, right? Everything is one. So like that. The maintainer is already deprecated. No one is going to use that. In the older files, if you have previous older Docker files, in that you will find this maintainer. That's all. Even if I build an image out of this, that will not have the Docker run -d test-1. This is the name of the container. And test:1 is the image. Okay, let's see the container. It is running. Now, if I inspect test-1, so now I don't think it will be present here. Let's search better. grep-i Chenna, that is not there, or XYZ, not there. So whatever maintainer you write in the Docker file, that is up to the image itself. You can't see in the containers. That's it for maintainer. Now let's go to the latest version, that is called label. Label. What is label? Label is a key value pair. This is also one Docker instruction, Dockerfile instruction you can use. So you can add as many labels as possible, not only one. You can add whatever you want to the image. This is also part of the image on, right? If I write one label, you can write 10 labels, 20 labels, whatever you want to pass the information, that you keep under label. That's all. Yeah. Now, so how to write it? Label, then key equal to value. This is the syntax. Key equal to value. Like that. As many labels you can add. Key 2 equal to value 2. Like this. Let me show the demo. I mean, in practical how it will be. Yeah. If I see the previous one, this is the container, right? We have inspected. When I grab labels, it is there, right? If1I, if1C5. So if you see, labels can come to Docker container also. It is not only limited to image. If you add any labels, as of now, we don't have any labels. That's why it is showing empty. Let me add one or two labels to the Dockerfile and build a new image and then build a container out of it, run a container out of it, so that we can see how labels will work. I'm keeping maintainer also same. Now there is no limitation. You can add label here also. Let me add here. Anywhere you can add. Let's say name. It can be capital or small letter. That doesn't matter. It is case sensitive. So name. Label. Email equal to, email is the key, name is the key. Whatever I am writing in the double quotes, it's a value. If you don't have spaces, you can directly mention, directly write xyz at email.com. There is no need to mention in double quotes, just for our understanding. I am writing in double quotes. There is no need for writing in double quotes. Okay, I remove double quotes also. Now let me build one joint. Okay, now where is this? Dockerfile. This is written. Now I'm building one more image out of this. Docker build -t. Now I'm labeling it as second version. Test 2. What is this? Fail to build the server account. Yeah. So it is expecting double quotes when there is a space. Docker build. Yeah, it is built now. This is just a warning about maintainer deprecation. That's fine. So now run. Image is built. I am running the second container. Now two containers are running. Now let me inspect image first. Test :2. If you see the labels, yeah, you see all the labels are available here under the labels section. The same goes in the container as well. So labels will be part of both container and the image. If you add in the Dockerfile, it will come to the Docker container also. And one more thing is, in this stage, we are having, we built the file, we built it from scratch, right? Let's say, let me write one more Docker file. Docker-1 maybe. I built this from Nginx. From Nginx /latest. I write my labels here. Label name equal to Chennaro. Label email equal to xyz at email.com. Okay, I am not passing any command also. Command anyway is there in the base image. Already they have mentioned the command. We don't need to write that one also. So Docker build test, Docker build -t test -nginx :1 dot. Oh, sorry. If I have not given, I see. This is also one example. My Docker file is different. Dockerfile -1. So that's why it is taking this file by default, because I haven't given -f option here. So if I want to build something from a different Docker file, you have to specify the file name. Dockerfile -1 dot. Now it is saying it has built. Docker inspect test -nginx :1. If I go to the label section, where is this label coming from? Right, I have only added email, I only added name, my name, right? So labels can be inherited from the parent image, base image, right? Labels added in the base or parent image or get inherited to your image also. So this is there in the already there in the Nginx image which we are using, right? So what is our Docker file? In this Docker file, this is the base image. In this image, while they are creating this image in the Docker file, they have added this as a label. That's why we are seeing this in our Docker image. So likewise, if someone uses my image, this text -nginx :1, and they build a image out of it, they also can see my name and my labels like that. And also one more thing, let's say here in this case, they have added a label like maintainer. Maintainer is not a Docker instruction. It is a label they have added. The same way we have added Dockerfile 1. Let me add one more label. Label maintainer equal to, I am giving my own name. Right? Let me build this again. Docker build test nginx 2, or same also you can build. I'm just taking one example. Now if I inspect this test -nginx 1, still it is showing Nginx Docker maintainers only. Sorry, it should replace. That is my intention to show you this. Where is labels? Yeah. If you see, maintainer section has changed it to Chennaro. So the Docker file which is there, I have as maintainer as Chennaro. So the labels which are there in the parent image or base image will be inherited. That is first rule. And if the same key is there, the key is here. Maintainer is the key value. Key. Email is the key. Name is the key. These are the values. If the same key is used in the upcoming image, in the child image, right? Parent image, base image, and child image, child Docker file. this Dockerfile, then this will be replaced with the latest value. This is the latest value. The value will be used what is there in the latest one, not from the base image, right? Hope you got the idea. So if the label is same, if the label is not there, if the key is not there, maintainer is not there, then that will come from the base image Nginx. If the same key is there and value is different, this value will be picked up instead of the base image value. In the previous section, we have different value. This Nginx Docker maintainers, Docker-main t at nginx.com. But as I have given in my Dockerfile, it is replaced with the latest value, that is Chennara. Right? That's how labels will be used. Now let's go to different one. Another one. So let's see what is expose. I'm trying to complete the simple first one. So what is expose? Expose is expose is a Dockerfile instruction used to give some information or documentation about the ports on which your application is running. Let's say the image is built by someone and the image is used to run a container by some another guy, right? In that case, it is required to pass the information from the person who has built the image to the person who is running the container. So expose is an instruction used to pass that information. Let's say in the case of Docker, it is running on port 80, right? When you inspect the image. So previously we have inspected. Let's see whether it has any expose comments. Exposed ports is 80. This is just to give information to the person who is running the container. Let's say I have taken this image, right? I don't know on which port I should use -p 80:80 or 80:8080, or I don't know if this information is not passed, right? Not passed to me. If I download some image from Docker Hub, I don't know how to run it, right? If this information is not passed to me. That is the main motto of this. Let's edit this file. Maybe Dockerfile 1. We can use it. And again, same like label, expose can be used multiple times to mention multiple ports. I say 80 once. Like this, you can mention multiple times, and maybe 8080, 8000 port. Maybe the container has multiple ports listening on, like just like Docker Nginx server, Nginx web server, where it listens on 80 also, 443 also, or on any other port also, right? In that case, we have to mention this application listens on multiple ports. So that is the reason. Maybe we can use 5000. Any other port that the application is listening on. Now let me build this Docker build, and I am saying test nginx:3. Now the image is built. Docker inspect test nginx:3. If I go up, all the exposed ports are listed here. 5080, 8000, 8080. Like that. This is just to pass some information to the person who is running a container, who want to run a container out of this image. Like that. What is this WORKDIR? WORKDIR is a Dockerfile instruction used to change the directory. Change the directory, right? What is the regular command we use to change the directory in Linux? That is cd. cd is the command, right? So work directory will work in two ways. It is, if let's say, if I use in my Dockerfile WORKDIR/application, this directory may not be there. In that case, what WORKDIR will do? First, it will create the directory and change the directory. One command, it will work as a mkdir and cd, both. So first it will create this directory and then it will change into that directory, cd into that directory. Like that, it will work. So, and again, just like labels, this can be used multiple times. Let me show you. So currently, I might be in some folder, right? I want to shift to some folder, WORKDIR. WORKDIR, I want to create some folder called application and I want to shift that application. Just directly WORKDIR you can use like this. Before that, we have with the same Docker file, I have created with this file without WORKDIR, I have created one Docker image previously, that is test-nginx:3. Let me create one container out of it and see what is the directory there now, right? Docker run -d test nginx-3, right? This is the third one, yeah. And this is the name, not the image. And then what is the image test-nginx:3. Okay. Okay, this is running Docker exec. I am going inside the container test-nginx-. Now, if you see where I am currently I am in the root directory. By default, it is listening on the root directory, right? This is nginx, ls-l. If I go user share nginx, these are all the files available. HTML folder is there. Your index files are there. Okay. Now I am building another Docker image using the Docker file we have written just now. So let me build this. Okay. Anyway, have the comments. Okay. Now using this file, I am changing the tag as 4 and building this image. Okay. Now let's run one more container out of it. That is Docker run. I am creating 4. The container name is test-nginx-4. The image name is :4, right? Docker ps. Okay, it is running. Docker exec -it test-nginx-4 and then bash. Currently, you see where you are right now in the / application directly. So when you use WORKDIR and the folder name, it will directly shift to that folder. Previously, when we logged in into root directory directly. Like here, if you see, we are in the root directory. By the time we give WORKDIR, the application itself is starting from this folder. If you open the container's home directory itself, I mean the login page, like that, has shifted to / application. Like this. And one more important thing we need to remember is when you write some Docker file, whatever commands you execute after this, let's say if you execute run, I will explain what is run in a moment. Let's say you execute run and then use mkdir test. So this test folder will be created inside this application folder. /application/test will be there. So you have already used cd to change the directory, and then you are creating a directory inside a directory, right? In that case, this is executed in the /application, like that. And same way, you can use as many times as possible this WORKDIR according to your requirement. You can go to the directory, come back, something like that. You can use using WORKDIR. You can use multiple times. There is no limitation for use. You have to use only one time like that. That is WORKDIR. It will create the directory. /application is not there previously inside Nginx. That is created, and also it has shifted to that directory. Let me take this copy. What is copy? Copy is a Dockerfile instruction to copy something from your build context to your image, right? Copy is to copy, right? When you use cp command, it is the same. What is happening here? So when you want to copy some files from your build context, previously when you am explaining from scratch, we have copied. What we have copied? We have copied root fs, which is there in the build context. The build context is this folder. We are using dot as a build context. Dot represents current working directory. So copy whatever is there in root fs to the slash directory inside the image. That is what the meaning of it. Copy like this. Now let me show it in Dockerfile 1. We have written. If I don't want to mention particular name, you can use copy dot space dot. What does that mean? Copy everything what is there inside in the current working directory. Copy dot dot, right? What I mentioned, copy space dot space dot. What it means? Everything what is there in the current working directory to the working directory of the application of the or the image, right? So copy from source to the destination, usually, right? Source to destination. Destination is always image. Source is always your build context. Currently you are building the image. So while building the image, this is your source is always your current working directory in your operating system. And destination is always your image file system. So if I run like this, so if I build an image with this content, copy dot dot, everything what is there in my current working directory, Dockerfile 1 root fs, everything will be copied into application folder, right? This is the working directory. This is the present working directory. So it will be copied like this. Let me show you. Let me give engineering score 5. Okay. Now run one more container. Container name is 5. Image name is 5. Docker PS. Okay, it is running. Docker exec-it test-nginx 5 bash. So current working directory is application. I should see all the files here now. Root fs folder is copied. Dockerfile is copied. Dockerfile 1 is also copied. Now if I go to root fs, everything is there. This is another file system, but it is not working as a operating system. If you keep it under slash directory, then only it acts as a operating system. Right now we just copied it. We just copied the contents from our system to image, and that how it came into the container. So copy dot dot you will see regularly, and also why this topic dot dot is used, or copy instruction is useful. You have to copy your source code, right? First, your source code will be there. You have to copy that source code into your image file. If you want to build something, so your entire application is done. And also, when I am explaining previously, simple DevOps. Is this one where sample DevOps application? Right? Previously, we have built one application. Static web application, I think. Yeah, static web application. This one. Previously, when we are building this application, I have written copy site, whatever is there inside the site. This site folder is nothing but our source code. Our programmers, our developers have written this code. We have to move this code from my build context. This is my build context. So only copy here whatever is there inside site directory, move that to USR share nginx HTML. That's what we have done previously using copy command, copy instruction. If I have mentioned dot here, copy dot space dot. In that case, every file, every directory present in this folder will be moved inside the image. And when you create a container out of that image, everything is there available in the container. But that is not our requirement. Our requirement is only to move files in this one. Based on our requirement, we have to write the Dockerfile instructions like that. Copies local files to your image. And copy dot copies everything, whatever is there inside your local files. Now, this we understood what is copy. Now, let me explain what is add. What is add? Add also, add instruction will also copy files or directories from your local system to the image. It also do the same thing. But then what is the difference between add and copy? Right? So let's say if you have, let's say in the previous example, we have copied a root file system also, right? Vim Dockerfile 1. Let's say I don't want to keep copy dot. I want to copy some file which is available in the internet, right? Let's say if I want to download Java or download Amazon Linux. Let's say Alpine Linux. Let's take this. As the size is small, the build time will be small. That's the reason I'm taking this. So if I copy this, copy link address, and then I'm pasting it here. It is not directly pasting. Okay, let me open this with Nano. So copy something from internet. We have to use add. It will download the file from the internet while you are building the image itself. You don't need to manually download it. You don't need to. So if I do Dockerfile, I have written add instruction inside my Dockerfile. So what it will do, it will go to the internet, get this file, copy this file to the image whichever you are building. When you are building the image on the fly, when you are building it, at the same time it will download the file, copy it to your Docker image. Let us see what will happen. So Docker build. Now I am giving it as 6. This is him. Building image. So it might have copied. Now let's run it. Let's see. So 6 I am taking Docker exec-it test-nginx-6 bash. It should be present here. If you see the tar file, it has downloaded and kept it here, right? The same file size. If I do ls-ltrh, the size is yesterday we have seen 3.6 MB, right? The same file size. Even if we download here, let's say if I download and say wget, you can use to download the file, right? You will see LTRH. If I see the same 3.6 MB is here. So 3.6 MB, it has downloaded on the fly and kept it inside the image. Yes. So that is the difference between add and copy. So when you want to copy, even the same Docker file which we are writing, if I say add ... it will also work the same way, like copy dot we have used, right? Same way, it copies whatever is there in your local file system, in the current working directory of your local file system, to the current working directory of your image, like /application. So both work the same, but additional advantage is add will, you can directly paste the URL and it will download whatever is there in that URL, the tar file or any other files. It will keep in the current one, wherever files you want to keep it, like this. And one more advantage is, if the tar, if whatever you want to download from the internet, if it is a tar file, right? If the tar file is already present in your local system like this, then it will extract the tar files also. Let me show you what I'm saying. Instead of you giving the URL completely, if you want to copy the tar files, only the tar file from your local file system. This is the name of the tar file I have in the local system. So alpine-mini-rootfs, the same file I already have in my local system, in the current working directory, in the build context, right? So if I give the tar file using add, it will extract whatever the contents inside this tar file and keep it in the destination folder. Let me show you that. Let's say the same command you can use copy also, right? You can use copy and the same command will work. The same instruction will work if with the copy also. The additional advantage if you are going with tar files is it will extract and keep the content. It will not just copy this file. It will extract and keep the extracted content in this location. Right? Let me show you. Docker run -d. Sorry. Docker build 7. Yeah. Where is it? Building WORKDIR exporting. So cached add. This is what is it executing, exporting. Okay. So the image is 7. Docker exec-it test-nginx-7 bash. Now if I see, this time it is not just copying the file, it is extracting and copying the file, copying the content inside the file. If it is the tar file, only with the tar file, not with zip file or any other file. If the whatever you are adding is just tar files, in that case it won't copy this tar file. It will extract and copy the contents in the destination location. That is the difference. So what is the main difference between tar and copy and add? First one is you can directly download something from the internet on the fly when you are building the entire file, either it is 1 MB, 10 MB or 100 MB or 1 GB, it will download and keep it inside the image. Second, if the copying, whenever you are copying from your build context to the image, if it is a tar file, then in that case it will extract the contents and copy it. But in the case of copy, it will just copy this content, the file into, it will just copy the file to the image. That is the two differences between copy and add instruction inside a Dockerfile.
So Chenna, it is only work with a tar, or it is work with a zip also? It will extract the zip as well?
No, that is what I am saying. It only works with tar file.
Tar file, okay.
If you use add with zip file, it will only copy the zip file. It won't extract or it won't do anything. It just works like a copy.
Okay.
And one more question. What is the difference between Docker CP and copy instruction? Previously, we have seen Docker CP command, and now we are using COPY, copy instruction. Yeah. Then what is the difference?
So I think when we use a copy in a Docker file, when it is building an image, at that time it will copy, right? And if we have a container running and we use a Docker CP, then at a runtime, it is actually copy pasting a thing. But if we lost the container in that particular image, we don't have that file.
Correct. That is the exact difference. So Docker CP is the command, Docker CLI command used to copy something to the container, not to the image. And copy instruction is a Dockerfile instruction used to copy something to your image at the build time. So that is also one question you can expect. Yeah, that is the difference. Now let me go to the other instructions here. What is user instruction? By default, when you are creating a container, let's say when you are creating an image and when you're building an image and creating a container out of an image, by default, everything will be as a root user. Here also you see everything is as root. Who am I? It is saying root. So when you are building anything, any Docker image, when you are building without a user instruction, then by default, the user will be root user. So if you want to create a container, or if you want to run the process inside the container as a normal user or any other user, except root user, any other user, if you want to shift to that user and run as that user, in that case, you can use user instruction in Dockerfile. So Dockerfile 1. User. Let's say I want to run this as Chenna user. Let's, for example, is Chenna user already available inside the image? For now, let me go and check.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So cat etc is, at least this file should be there. There is either Nginx user is there, root user is already there anyway, and some application users or system users are there. These are having no login permission, right? Only Nginx user is there, but here also bin false, nothing, he cannot log in as. You cannot log in as that one, and there is no Chenna user. In that case, what will happen? So will it create the user? If I use a Dockerfile to build the image, will the user instruction will be used to create this user like WORKDIR? In the case of WORKDIR, this folder is not there. It is creating the folder and then shifting to that folder, CD to that folder. But this user instruction is different. If the user is already there, in that case, user instruction can be used like SU option. So switch user, SU-U use, right? Switch user Chenna. It works like SU Chenna inside the image. But if that user is already not there, this will throw the error, not at build time, but at runtime. Let me show you that. So Docker build -t now 8. building image, there is no issue with it, because shifting the user should happen at the runtime. The process should start at runtime. Till now, the process is not started. So it is not saying, it is not throwing any error. Process will start as this user when you are running the container. So let me run a container now. So 8. Now it is throwing the error. Error response from daemon. Unable to find user Chenna. No matching entries in the passwd file. So what you have to do? First, you have to create this user in the image itself. Then only you can shift to that user. So user command, user instruction inside a Dockerfile is like a su command you use in your Linux operating systems. So without this user available, you cannot shift to that user. I will explain again when we see run instruction next coming. So using run command in the Dockerfile, what we have to do? First, we have to create the user. How you can create the user? Using add user or user add command, these commands, right? So use those commands and create the user, and then use user command to shift to that user. Like that, it will work. It is just like a su command. Now let's move on to a different one. Yeah, let me write this user to shift to the user. If the user is not there, it will throw error at runtime, not at build time. Right, next move on to different commands here. There is something called arg and env. Let me take arg now. What is arg? Arg is a instruction in Dockerfile used to parameterize the builds. What does that mean? Parameterizing. So it is used to set a variable in a while building the image. Let's say take one example now. Vim Dockerfile 1. Here I'm using latest. This is fixed. Every time I run this Dockerfile, this latest is fixed now. I cannot change the base image from latest to anything, right? Every time when I run this image, when I build this image, it is automatically taking latest one, or else I have to edit this and I have to change the latest image to some other version. In that case, if you want to parameterize your build, you can say arg base image tag. This can be anything. I am taking this. This is the variable name. It works like a variable. You give here latest. This is the default value. Base image tag equal to latest is the default value. And while building the image, latest. Now instead of latest here, you give the variable name. Variable name is base image tag, right? So what you have to do, $, and you can use flower braces, base image tag. So whatever value it holds, that will be replaced here. So nginx colon, now default value is latest, but I can pass something else at the build tag. So wq, when I see Dockerfile 1, this is the file which we are using. Now let's build this. Docker run -t. Let's say if I give 9. Oh, sorry, it is run. Oh, yeah. Now I have to give 9.
Yeah.
Now if I give like this, it will use by default the latest one. But at the build time also, what I can do, I can parameterize this saying -build -arg and the label and the variable name base image tag equal to let's say 1.30.0. So the same file I can reuse with the different versions of base image. Like this. If I build this, I haven't given dot, that's why. Right now, it is Dockerfile 1. If you see from docker.io library, nginx 1.30. It is not taking the latest, it is taking the image 1.30.0. That's how we can parameterize it. You can reuse the same Dockerfile instead of writing another file like that. So one more example, if I take, in this case, we are saying WORKDIR is application, right? So what we can do, we can parameterize this one also, saying, so arg can be used multiple times in your Dockerfile. So arg, my home directory, let's say, home directory equal to application. So here, multiple times you can shift. WORKDIR equal to, or what is WORKDIR? Is home underscore directory. Right? In the subsequent commands, you can use multiple times whenever you want to shift to other directory or like this. Or the same application, if you use --build--arg in the build time, then you can change the directory name also. Now you have to give default. If nothing is passed at runtime, application will be the default directory, home directory. But if you give something, it will be shifted to that directory. Now let me build it. So I am giving, let's say I will change it to 29 now. And then one more time I have to use build arg. Then what is the one? Home underscore directory. Directory equal to, let's say this time I want to give it as /app. Not application, I want giving it as app. And let me change it to 10. It is downloading 29 now. It has changed the WORKDIR to /app. So when I create a container out of this image, the working directory is not /application. This time it is /app. The same file you can reuse with different values using build arguments. This is what parameterizing means. So you're giving these values, whatever you want at build time. And whatever you use this value, these variables, that will not be available inside a container. These are variables only particular to the image. For these variables help in building the image. But these variables will not be available inside the container or at the time of container, or when you inspect a container, or even when you inspect an image also, these things will not be there. Let me inspect one image now. Previously, what we have built, test nginx 10. Previously, in case of labels, they are available both in the container and the not inside the container. When you inspect the container, it is available. When you inspect test nginx 10, nowhere you will find this WORKDIR is the instruction, but the label, whatever I am talking about, this one, home underscore directory or base image tag, that will not be there. So these are only for the building purpose, building the image. These will not be available either in the image or in the container also. Just to parameterize things. And one more important thing you have to remember in terms of this arg is, whatever you use in the arg before the from instruction, this arg, whatever variable, will be allowed till from. If you want nowhere after the instructions, it will not be available. Let me tell you what I'm saying. So let's say Dockerfile 1. Now If I want to use the same base image tag here, let me use, instead of home directory, one more WORKDIR. I told you I can shift as many times as possible. WORKDIR. This time I want to use base image tag. Why can't I create a folder name with latest? The folder name can be latest also, right? I can create. In that case, I want to use it. So the base image tag is latest. I want to create this directory and shift to this directory here itself. Let me do that. Base image tag. There is no typo here. Now let me build it. Level. This time I am not passing 1.29.0. Even you can pass it, then it has to shift to a directory called 1.29.0. Okay. What it is doing? Undefined variable, usage of undefined variable, base image tag. I don't know what you are talking about. This directory, I don't know. That is what it is saying. Right? Simply, it is. If you
we
see,
can use only one time.
Huh?
We can use it only one time.
No. Previously, we have used both tags. No. Here, build args. You can pass as many variables as possible.
No. That is a base image tag argument. Is used only one time, right? I mean, inside Dockerfile, you mentioned 2 times, right? Base image tag, base image tag.
Okay.
Right?
Let me.
So,
So you are saying you are asking to use here also, right?
No. I'm saying that you use the argument base image tag in the top, right? Then you can use it at the second line, and then again below line you used it at work directory. So it will only work for a one time.
No, not like that. No. So what I am trying to explain is, whatever arg instruction which is there before from, this label or this variable can be used only in from instruction. That value will not be available rest of the time, rest of the Dockerfiles. But in the case of this arg home underscore directory is there, right? This can be used multiple times.
Okay.
So let me use run. Till now I haven't explained, but for our understanding, let's say run chmod -r 777, then $home underscore directory. So I am reusing the same variable multiple times here, right? Home directory. But base image tag I cannot reuse because it is only available till the second line. From third line, Docker build don't have any idea of this variable availability. It don't know what is this variable after this one. So this is only exception to the first 2 lines. So any argument which you use before from is available only till the from instruction. After that, that variable or variable value will not be available. So let me run this now again. Is replacing. Okay. 80 home directory. Yeah. Now let me build with 11 only. In that case, it is saying, if you see WORKDIR /app work, run command chmod -r 777, it is replacing the value with /app, which I have passed at the build time here, at the build command. But when I am saying WORKDIR base image tag, that is coming empty here. Because this is that is the reason. It don't know what is the value of base image tag. Usage of undefined variable base image tag. I don't know what is this value. That is what it is saying. Let me try with one more time the same thing. I am just copying this and I am keeping it here. So base image tag equal to latest. I am reusing the variable. I mean, like creating or defining a variable one more time. Multiple times I am defining the same variable. Let's try this time how it will work. test Nginx, the same I am running. Now this time it is working. It is WORKDIR 1.29.0.
Okay.
So first, any Docker file should start with a from instruction. The only exception is arg instruction. So any instruction, if you have, it can be allowed is only arg instruction. You cannot add label before from. Let me show you that also. Let me do this. I just kept arg and label. I will build the same image again. It should throw the error. What is this label? I am not expecting label at the very start of the image because there is no base. On top of the base only you can create some labels, right? That is the error. So from instruction is the first line for any Docker file. The only exception is you can add one argument for the parameterizing the builds. So you can pass any instruction or any arg instruction before the from. That is the only exception. Hope you are clear now. Any doubts till now, guys? I try to explain.
Yeah, no, nothing from my side.
Okay. So let's move on to ENV. What is ENV? So ENV stands for environment. This is like an environment variables you want to add to the image. Let's say in the case of MySQL database, or in the case of any database, you want to give database environment variable value, name, DB name and passwords, right? You have to pass some variables. You can do it in two ways. Any other environment variable. Let's say in the case of Java, you want to set Java underscore home environment variable. Maybe slash bin /bin/Java or opt Java bin, like that. You have to pass for the Java application to run. This is the Java home environment variable. This is the value of it. How you can set in a image itself, even before the image starts, this environment variable should be kept, right? So what you can do, you can while building a Docker file itself, you can add it. So I'm delete arg. Okay, label is deleted. Anywhere, any number of times you can add. Let me add one. ENV. For our example, let me add. Even though Java is not there, I can add Java home. This is an environment variable, not about a Java application. Java home /opt, maybe Nginx or maybe Java. If the folder is not there, also fine. So this is the environment variable and the value. I can set anything, right? ENV. Let's say version is one environment variable. I want to set the value 1.30.0. Either it is Java version or any other version. For us, this is one environment variable we are setting inside the image. So let me run this. Docker build. I am taking it as 12 now. Okay, it ran. Docker run -d. Now I will take 12. It is running. So Docker exec -IT test -Nginx -12. And then bash. Now inside this, you should see, if I press ENV, that environment variable should be there, like this. Inside, where is version? This one. Like this, it is available. Before we, at the time of building, we have passed the environment variable, and while running, it is available inside the container like the environment variable. The same way we have environment variables in local system also. These are the environment variables available in my local system. Same way, I want to pass some environment variables or create some environment variables inside a container, but I want to pass it from the building stage itself. Then you can add it in a Dockerfile. And one more important thing is you should not keep any sensitive data as a environment variables or as a labels or alts or any of these. All are taking some key value pairs only, but you should not pass sensitive information like database passwords or something like that. So whatever is there, you want to set as an environment variable, this is fine. But if you keep MySQL DB password as an environment variable, if you are passing like this, then that is a risk, right? Your Dockerfile is available everywhere, and if someone knows your password of your DB, then everything will be compromised. So you should be careful not to keep something which is sensitive in nature. You should not keep in Dockerfile. Then how to pass some how to change the DB password or how to enter the password while creating the container itself, right? What I mean to say, when I am running a container here, I am not passing any environment variables here. But without you passing the environment variables, how can the container come up with a DB password or DB username? How can I do that? In that case, let me use the Docker run -d. Then you can use -e as an environment variable. The same way Java_home equal to, you can set some new value now. /var log. Let's say for our example, I'm taking -e. Now I want to set the version. Version equal to 1.28. I'm setting now. 28.1, whatever. All right. Now I have to change the container name 13. Now if I exec to this container, now if I do env, the value of the version is 1.28.1, which I have passed here. Like this. You can set the value at runtime also. When you're creating a container, you can set the environment variable values like this using -e option. Even though I have given some OPT Java, now this is changed to var log like this. So how this is helpful for us? Let's say you have front end, you have back end. How front end will connect to the back end? So first dependency is the back end. Back end should come up and running in the first case. Second, when you are running the front end needs to connect to the back end, right? Back end is not connected to the front end. Front end want to talk to the back end and get the data from the back end. If there are two applications, front end and back end, in that case, -e, you have to give the back end address here. Whatever the environment variable the application is expecting, the front end application, that environment variable along with the IP address or service address or something, some IP address you have to give here. And -e port, on which port the backend is listening or something like that. So front end want to talk to the backend on which IP. You can pass it runtime here. Here I have taken Java home. Maybe the environment variable name is backend address _address. If in that case, -e backend _address equal to the IP address of the backend pod or backend container, like that. So front end knows where is backend and it will communicate to the backend. Oh, understood. Okay. Now let's see the main important entry point, CMD, and run instructions. All these are same to some extent. Run, CMD, or entry point, all are used to execute a command. Execute a command or execute any Linux commands inside a Docker image at the time of building or at the time of running a container, whatever. So at the time, whenever you see here in our example also, cat Dockerfile 1, here when I'm seeing run, it is also executing a command, right? Previously, when we have built in the local, this CMD also running one command. At the end, nginx-g daemon of is one command to start the application. chmod is a command to give the file permissions. So CMD or entry point or run, all are used to run execute one command. So then what is the difference between all of these three, right? So run, let me start with run. Run is a Dockerfile instruction used to execute the command at building time. When you are building something, when you are building an image, whatever run instructions you are giving, that will be executed inside a image. Let's say if I am giving 777 permissions, that 777 permissions you are executing inside the image. You are building at the time of building only, that 777 permissions you are giving for the application folder, right? So run instruction, whatever you execute after run, even if you create mkdir, or even if you use touch commands, even if you use user add command or whatever commands, that will be executed inside an image at the time of build time. And whatever is there under CMD or entry point, these will be executed at runtime. At runtime for starting a container main process. These are the commands. These are the CMD or entry point instruction execute at runtime to start the main process of the container. Main process of the container. What will be the main process? If I talk about Nginx, Nginx is the main process that should be started in the container. So that's why Nginx will be started. So what is the container to run? That main process will be given in the CMD or entry point. That is the main difference. And one more thing, each run instruction you add in your Dockerfile will be creating one layer inside Nginx. Inside your image. So let's say if you have 10 run instructions inside your Dockerfile, then you are having 10 layers in image, in the Docker image. Why this is important? So you should keep as many layers as possible. One important thing, if I say Dockerfile 1, here we are using Nginx. Let's say I use run apt update -y. Then I can use run apt install maybe git for our example, right? Run apt install tree command, whatever. I'm taking some examples here. Each one will add one layer. So this will not add layer. These are just like a information you are passing, right? This arg command, workdir command, these are not adding any layers to your image, right? But this is adding one layer. Each apt update by apt install git, apt install tree. How can you reduce the layers here, right? You can use chaining of commands, ampersand, you can use and then apt install git -y. So in that case, you can remove this line now, right? And you can remove the other line saying git space tree. Both will be installed in the same line. It will update and then it will install, right? You can have only one layer in your Docker file history, like this. And why this is important? Let's say if you add 10 Docker lines, 10 Docker run commands, each one is adding one layer. Tomorrow, what I can say here, you have done copy dot space dot. Then again, you have added run apt install git. You have to give -y or else the build will fail. Run. Sorry. apt install tree -y. Now, there is something called, something very important called build cache. What is build cache? Previously also, when you are building the image, if I show you, there is something called transferring files WORKDIR. This is invalidated. That's why loading build context Alpine image layers. So when you have changed, it will not. When you have invalidated the layers, it will have to build from the scratch again. So 1 minute, guys, I will show you. Cached. You see, there is something called cached. What is the build context? Build cache, right? When previously I have said every Docker image is layers. So let's say if I take one analogy, if you have 10 floors of building, if something happened in the 5th floor, if you break the 5th floor, everything from above the 5th floor will have to fall down, right? Will has to collapse. If you break only the 5th floor, 6th floor, 7th floor, 8th floor has to collapse. Same thing happens here also. If you break the 6th line of code, if you change something in the 6th line of code, then 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th instructions of the Dockerfile has to build from cache again, has to build without cache again. So what I mean, let me use this apt update now, build one image now for you to understand. So to build -t, whatever it is, 13. It is updating. It is, if you see, there is a time ticking here. It has took almost 17 seconds to build this Docker image. Now I run again. The same tag or different tag, it doesn't matter. How much time it took? Less than a second, half second it took. Why this build is this much quicker? Because if you see here, cached, 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 everything is cached, right? Let me change the file now. I am moving one layer, one copy instruction or one run command. Let me move this dd and paste it here. Before update only, I am copying everything, right? I haven't done anything. I just moved the line. Let me build again now. If you see, now again it has started creating the layers now. If you change even from one line, from that instruction point, it again has to start building it. because everything is a layer. You have removed one layer. Again, it has to create the layers from the top again, right? Are you getting my point? If I say,
Yes.
yeah, thanks. If I move again, if spaces are ignored anyway, if I delete it again here, and if I keep it here, then you are invalidating the layers again. Invalidating the layers. You are removing the fifth floor. So whatever comes after fifth floor, sixth floor, seventh floor, whatever floors are there, that has to be built again. It won't take from the cache. If you don't change the lines, then it will take from the available cache. What Docker caches everything in the where lib Docker files. Where lib Docker folder, there will be cache. It is caching whatever you are building. From that cache, the build will be quicker. It will take from the cache which is available in the loader. But if you invalidate the layers inside the Docker file, if you keep moving the files here, lines between, if you move run commands from second line to fourth line to fifth line frequently, then your build time itself will take much higher. In our case, it is taking 15 seconds. Previously, it is taking 16, 17 seconds. But if you are building your developer written applications, that might take 4 or 5 minutes extra just to build the application. Imagine if this build is happening in the CI/CD pipeline, right? Your pipeline to complete the build is taking 5 minutes. Then again, before that, there will be some test commands running, unit test cases it might be running to complete the unit test cases to build the application, and again to do some kind of any kind of testing, pushing to the image and deploying in the environment. Entire step will take a lot of time. So your build should complete as much early as possible. So first time it will take 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. But from the next time, it will take from the cache only whatever commands is required. You have to change only that commands. So you should not keep the commands which keep on changing. For our example, if I say this copy command, you don't need to keep here. First of all, you can keep at the end of the file. You delete this here. Whatever files you don't change frequent, whichever files you are changing should be kept in the bottom of your Dockerfile. Whichever commands which are not going to change. This run update -y will not change every time you are building the image. So this should be kept at the top. And installing. This everything goes into one layer. So no need for the Docker to invalidate this. Everything is one command. So you are making as one layer now. This everything is one layer, and whatever frequently changing, the file which is changing, you should keep something in the down. Let's say in our case, copy. Copied. Our code keeps on changing, right? Whatever we are copying, that is our code which the developers has written. In our example, site folder. Site folder is what developer has written. If you keep copy instruction in the first line here itself, this line. If I use copy here, then as there is a change in the source code, it is copying again. From then again, this app update has to run, and again below commands has to run again. That's why whatever commands which are frequently might change, whatever it is copying some content, that content is changing, then you have to keep it in the below layers. You should not invalidate the layers again. This one time run, it will be kept in the cache and no need to run again. Also, if you want to build the image without cache, there is some command like -no cache. Every time it will not take the cache when it is building. If you use -no cache. You don't want to use the cache for some reason. In that case, you can use --- no cache. And entry point or command or entry point will be used to start the process at the runtime. Now, let me explain one more thing. Run instruction. If you run this, like what I have shown you, run apt install Nginx or apt update, right? Apt update -y and ampersand apt install git or any other software. This will be running in a shell, right? Shell is the main process, and this is the child process of the shell. There is something called executable form and also shell form. There are two ways how you can execute a command: shell form and executable form. What is shell form? What is executable form? So in the shell form, what will happen? Whenever you run a command, the main process will be shell, like bin bash, bin sh, like that. So how it will be running? /bin/sh -c apt update -y apt install git -y. This is what internally happening. So bin is the main shell, and this is the command or subshell to this main shell when you are running like this. But you can also run like this: run apt comma and update comma -y. This is executable form. This is shell form. What is happening in this executable form? This is the command which will be running as the main process. So it is directly executed on the shell apt update -y. If you are running it as an executable form, so no bin/sh, this will not be there. If you are running it as a executable form, it will run directly like this. That is the difference of executable form and shell form. So why there is a difference? Why you should use, when you should use what, right? When I should use shell form, when you should use executable form. So when you are running CMD or entry point, previously I said CMD or entry point are the instructions in Dockerfile which will be used not at the build time but at the runtime. When the container, inside the container, the main process will be running. That command you have to give in the CMD or entry point. I will explain what is the difference between CMD and entry point also, but understand now. So when you are using this, if I say for our example, previously we have run like this. Why we have run like this, right? Previously we have run like this. The same thing will work if I run CMD Nginx -z daemon of 12. The same thing will work without giving square brackets, double colons like this. Then why should we run like this, right? As I explained, in the shell form, shell is the main process. Shell is the main process. In the executable form, the application itself is the main process. So when we are running a container, the main process should be the application, right? Main process which is running the application, running the container should be the main process, right? If I say, if I do like this, shell will be the main process. So /bin/bash -c nginx -z daemon of will be executed internally. In that case, my Nginx application is the child process and bash is the main process. So you can ask, right? Anyway, what is the difference? Why anyway application is running? What is the difference if I run as a main process or child process, right? The main difference is when you use Docker stop or when you use Docker kill. Like what will happen? The signal will be sent. The sig we have discussed sig kill signal or sig term signal for stopping. The signal will be sent or the process which is notified is main process. Main process will be notified when you are doing Docker stop or when you are doing Docker kill. So if you are running like this, the main process is bash shell, not the Nginx application. So whenever I am doing Docker stop, this Docker stop is informing or notifying bash that I am going to stop your application. Please stop. Please stop your application process. Right? In that case, bash will be informed, but actual application is still Nginx only. Right? That is where the end users are requesting the application for. For this, there is no information that someone is going to kill the container. It is still in the process. Let's say if my Nginx is talking to some backend and that backend is talking to some database, in that case, there might be some open threads between the databases. Open connection pool will be open between the database. As Nginx is not informed about this database, about this termination, then it might not close the open pool connectivity. So it might not close whatever it is expected to close. So the connection will be in stale position, right? So whenever you are starting your application should be the main process. Nginx should be the main process. So that is the way we use these square brackets, which is the executable form. In the executable form, your application will be the main process. And when you are stopping, starting, restarting, killing the container, your process will be informed. Your process will be notified that when your Docker stop, in that case, some grace period will be there. So Docker will inform the process that I'm going to stop the container. Please proceed whatever you are going to do. Like if you want to close the connection, you go on, close the connection. Like this, some grace period will be given. And Nginx itself is notified in that case. In case of shell form, sh shell or bash shell will be informed, but main process will not inform the child process to terminate gracefully. The information will not be passed, and your application will end up in a hang state, or some stale connections are opened, or again you have to use Docker kill to kill the application, something like that you have to do. Understood, guys? Any doubts?
No, clear, Chinna, clear.
So that is the reason with CMD and entry point, you have to go with this approach. That is the reason why you will see like this in most of the Dockerfiles. You won't see directly like this.
That is the executable form, correct?
Yes, that is the executable form, and your container should have the main process as your application. So if you keep like this, your container will have, whenever you do Docker top on any of your applications, paste Nginx.
PID one should be the application.
No such container. Okay, 13 is there. So what is the main process running? Nginx master is running.
Yeah.
That's why if you see in other cases, maybe in Nginx 3, I think. Everything is, we have used Nginx. Okay. So the main process, if you use without CMD command, then the main process will be the shell process, if without executable form. That is the main difference. And why we are not using executable form in the case of run command, right? In the case of CMD, we understood it should be run as a main process. But now we are building the image. Why we should not use this APT in a executable form, this run instructions inside a executable form? Why we are running it as a normal APT command like this, plain, without giving square brackets or double quotes? Because when you are building an image, we want to take the advantage of shell. What is the advantage of shell? Using shell, we can have variable substitution. What is variable substitution? Previously, we have seen cat Dockerfile1. This is variable substitution. This will not work. Let's say this is the variable substitution. If this is the feature of shell form, whether it is a bash, whether it is sh, whether it is zsh, shell has variable substitution. You give a variable and you have a value. This will be replaced with a variable. This will not happen if you go with the executable form. So these are the advantages of shell. Whatever you can do with the shell, you can use if you use directly like this. This is executed as a shell inside a shell. So shell features will be available, like variable substitution, like chaining command. This is called chaining of commands. One command appended with another command. So first this will be executed, after that it will be executed like that. So chaining of commands can be done. Second, IO redirection. Let's say you can do, just for example, I'm saying cat test.txt or test1.txt, and you can redirect the output to some other file. Just I'm taking one example. This is a redirection, or 2 greater than &1. You want the error to be saved. This is the feature of shell. To use these kind of features like pipelining, you can use output of one command as the input of another command. The same example, if I take test.txt and I can grab something, this is piping. This is also feature of shell. So to take the advantage of the shell feature, we are using this run without executable form, and we don't have to. We are not running any process when you are building the image. Process is running, or process is starting at the time of running a command, running a container. So while building an image, you go with shell form, and when you are starting a container, the command, the instructions which are used to start a process inside a container is CMD or entry point. With this, you use executable form. That is the core motto of this. What is run command, entry point, and shell form and executable form. And now let's go to the last. What is the difference between entry point and command? So now we understood run. Now we understood build context, build caching, how you should write a Dockerfile without invalidating the other layers of the build cache, so that the build will be quicker. Now, what is the difference between run and CMD? Sorry, CMD and entry point. Both are used to start a process inside a container. So these are not used when you are building an image. These instructions are not executed when you are building an image. These are used to run a process inside a container. Then what is the difference? When you write the same daemon with the entry point, these also do the same thing. But one thing is, you cannot change the options at runtime. I mean to say, you can build the image, But when I am running the container, I want to pass some other value to it. Let me take one example. If I say, if I have one test.sh, this is one shell script. If I want to pass some value to it, start or stop or restart, in that case, how can I pass these values for the when I am using it as a entry point or when I am using it as CMD? So I have a shell script. This is one process which I have to start or stop or restart. When the container is starting, I have to pass either these three values. That's why I have kept my shell script under CMD. And also I want to pass some values to it. So what you can do, you can keep it in entry point test.sh. I will explain clearly once again. Test.sh. Then in the runtime, you pass stop. Let me take one example. Vim Dockerfile 2. Let me take any. Ubuntu latest, any other will work. Run update -y. I want to copy one test.sh to inside the whatever the working directory is, or you can create the working directory also, that is fine. Now I want to run this. One second. Before that, I want to explain it. Okay. I am using CMD. Forget this for now. I will explain again. So CMD, I am using executable form, echo, comma. Let's say welcome to container. This is just my CMD, right? Nothing much. So we know when you are using CMD, it is the main process. No, just this echo command is the main process inside the container. Let me build now. Docker build -t test:1 Docker. Oh, sorry, we have to pause it. Docker. So I just have apt update, Ubuntu image, apt update, and then CMD instruction, nothing much. Now build the image. Building is done. Run -d -name test-1, and the image name is test:1. Is already there. Okay, fine. Test 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now if I check, the container might not be running. Where is test 1, 2, 3? This one. It is not running because there is no continuous process. But what I want to show you, test -1, 2, 3 container logs. It just printed as expected, welcome to container. That is what it ran when it is starting the container. Perfect. whatever we want, we ran it. Now let's see. Let's edit the same file again. Now I write one more. One more entry point, one more command. Can I write one more command? Will it work? What do you think? I'm just displaying ls-lar, nothing much. Is this allowed or not?
I'm not sure.
Okay, let me show you. Now I am, let me delete all the containers which are there. Docker, yesterday we have discussed rm-f $docker ps-a-q. So all the containers should be deleted now. Nothing. Okay, now I will build this with Dockerfile 2 with the name test-2. It is building. It is saying multiple, it is just a warning, not an error. Multiple instructions disallowed because only the last one will be used. Here itself it is saying technically it is possible to use multiple CMD files, CMD instructions inside a Docker, but only the last one will be used. This one will be ignored. So when I run a container out of it, test2 and the image name is 2. Now the container will not be running as the process is not continuous, but you see the exit status is 0, that is success. Whatever you have ran, that executed properly. Now I can see ls-lar is working. Now let me tell you what is this, what I am trying to explain. So now both, only one is executed now. We have seen that. Now, if I, now at the time of running, Docker run -d, here I just want to pass, instead of ls-lar, I want to give, let's say /opt. It is saying it is already there. Okay, the container is already there. Container name I am changing. Error response from daemon failed.
Permission denied.
Yeah, permission denied. But okay, let me change the Dockerfile. I understood. Okay, I'm building it. Anyway, there is already there with the same one. Test4. Or okay, I am just giving Channa here. Let's see what happens. OCA runtime failed. Why it is coming in front of me? The command. Okay. Good. Channa. Each time. Echo Channa. Docker logs. Test-1. If I see whatever chen I have given, that is printed. What I have, the Dockerfile I have is different, no? The Dockerfile I have is echo welcome to container. But if I run it, let's say I am creating one more container, test-2 with the same image. This time I am saying your name, Anirudh. Right? Yeah. Forgive me about the spelling mistakes.
Correct.
Yeah. If I do test-2 now, it is printing your name, not what is there inside the building, right? So what we should understand from here, whenever you do CMD, the instructions which you have written, the command which you have executed there can be overridden at runtime.
Okay.
Right? Override the commands whichever you have given in the CMD. Now let me do the same thing. I am using entry point. I will do entry point. Now I will build again. Build, and I am building with test2. Okay. Now it run. Container name is 3. Test colon 2. And I am giving echo Anirudh, your name. Okay, I entered now. Now if I see Docker logs test-3, what it is taking, it is printing both. Welcome to container echo on it. What does that mean?
It is not overridden the entry point.
Yeah.
The main process is not getting overridden.
So when you are using entry point, whatever you cannot override at runtime, but whatever you pass at runtime will also be taken as a argument to the existing command. Let's say what I mean to say, how it is working. When previously when we used echo welcome to containers, container, and then it is executed. But if I give echo Anirudh at runtime, this is also taken as a argument to this echo command. So this is one command, and this entire thing is one command. So both arguments. These are two arguments to the same echo command. Like that, it will work. But in the case of CMD, it will replace whatever is there, and whatever you have given at runtime, the command will be executed. Echo output will be printed like that. This entire thing will be replaced, and echo command will execute, and echo will obviously print what is there after echo. Your name is there, and that's why it's printing Anirudh. That is the difference between entry point and CMD. In some cases, you will find both entry point and CMD in Dockerfiles. So Dockerfile -3. So sorry, Dockerfile -2. Now echo. In case of okay. How you can use it? Echo is the main command. CMD. Hello. Let's see how it goes. So in the entry point, I said echo. In the command, I said hello. Now I am building this image. Maybe 5. Oh, no error. Docker run -d test -5 and test :5 name we have to give it. Now run. Okay, it ran. I know it will not, the container will not be running because there is no continuous process. Wow. Now this is printing hello, right? Yeah. Now let's run one more time. Now we will pass something here. We say Chenna here. Nothing much, just Chenna. Oh, it is not.
The container is already there.
Yeah, that's the problem. RM minus.
You can run 6. Test 6.
Yeah. So I'm just doing the same thing. I have deleted the containers. Now I am running Chenna. Oh, this time it is not throwing any error. Previously, it is saying when we are using CMD, when I am not passing echo command, echo. If you see here, echo Chenna. Where is it? Chenna. Just Chenna, when I passed without echo, it is saying, it is scolding me, right? This is not there. This is not a command, what you are passing. But now, even if I don't give echo or anything, just Chenna, it is working. Now, let's check the logs. Lots of test file. Oops. Yeah. It is just printing Chenna. Previously, it is printing hello. Right? So that is the best advantage of having both entry point and command. So when you have the entry point, you should keep the command, and CMD you should keep the options or arguments.
Understood.
Default value. Default value will be kept here, and when you are running it here, when you are at runtime, you can pass different value. The same thing I am trying to explain here. Let's say if Nginx is the application, Nginx -s, we can start, you can stop, you can restart, like this.
Yes.
By default, what you want to use, that you have to keep in entry point.
So entry point, it should Nginx -s, and we can use CMD for start, stop, restart.
Yeah. Nginx -s, you have to keep like this, and in the CMD, the default value which you want to run.
Yeah.
Whether you want first, maybe you want to start it, right? But later, when you at runtime, maybe you want to restart it, or I'm taking just an example. While creating a container, you won't restart, but just take it as an example. So if you want to pass some other value, you will pass it. That is the why you have to use both entry point and CMD.
Okay.
Yeah, when you use entry point, see just CMD, you can change whatever you want to. You can replace it. But when you are using entry point, only entry point, if you are talking about only entry point, whatever you pass at runtime will be taken as an argument. In that case, you should have to pass start at runtime. So Nginx -s start will run. If you use only CMD here, let's say 2 more minutes, we will complete. So if you use CMD here, at runtime, you have to give entire command that should be replaced like this. You have to give full command at runtime, because this will be replaced with the command whatever you are giving at runtime. But with entry point, whatever you have given will be used as an argument to the existing command. So you have, if we give, you have to give only start, not Nginx -s start. If you give Nginx -s start at runtime, this entire thing will be used again like this. So Nginx -s space Nginx -s start will run. So that will not anyway work. So that will fail. That's what happened here. When I give just Chenna here, where is it? This one. It is saying OCI runtime create failed, unable to start container process something, but actual error is different. It is not found something in the path or something. So when I have used CMD echo welcome to containers, here also I have to use echo, because everything will be replaced. Whatever is there inside CMD will be replaced with Chenna. So Chenna is not a command. That's why it is throwing this command. I don't know.
Okay. Got it.
Any doubts, guys? Abhishek, Bhagirathi. You guys are silent in the class. Are you getting or stuck somewhere?
As of now, no doubts. Everything is clear.
No, Chenna.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's all from my end. And one more difference, one more thing I missed here is, in shell form, when you are executing, I said these are the advantages of variables, everything, right? When you are running shell form, you can take the advantages of shell. Same thing, let's say, if I executing ls command, ls is is available in the path, right? Echo, if I do here outside the container, which ls? ls is in user bin ls. Now let me go to sudo su-, move ls. Let me create one directory. Okay, move ls user bin ls to /opt. Okay, now if I run ls is not working. What I have done, I have removed ls, I have moved ls from one folder to another folder. The moment I removed this from user bin ls command is not working. Right?
Correct.
Same thing for any other file. So let me redo that. User bin. If I do know, ls is working. Fine. So what is the issue? There is something called path. Echo $path. So path is an environment variable. So this is the path. First, whenever I am executing any command, ls, mkdir, any command, first it will check whether the command executable file is present in sbin, user local sbin, or user local bin, or user sbin, or user bin, or /sbin. These are the different directories available. So if any of the directory it finds, first, if it finds in the first directory itself, it will not go for the second directory. If it not found in till this much, it will. If it founds in the /bin, then till this much, this directory it will search, and if it is there, it will execute the command like this. ls, it worked because it is there in user local bin. User bin where is user bin? Here. It searched here, it found here, and it is executing. Same thing in our Dockerfile also. When you are executing something, vim Dockerfile 2. Let me do here. Using run, we can do whatever we want, right? Let me do it. So I want to move. Maybe it is available. Echo command, I want to search. User bin. Maybe if ls is there, it will move /opt. I am moving user bin ls to echo. Now I am building it. Docker build -t test :10 dot. I'm just building it. F1F Docker -2 Dockerfile -2. Right. Okay. This executed. Okay. Now I am running Docker run -b test : test -name test -10. The image name is test : 10. Docker logs test : 10. Error response from D. Sorry. It executed hello. Maybe the location is different. Let me include this. If it is there, it will move. Oh, sorry, my intention is different. I am moving ls. I want to move echo command. If anywhere it found, it should move. That is my intention. So that's why I'm moving it. So user bin echo or user local bin echo or /bin echo, it has to move to echo. OPT. Okay, fine. Now build this. Doing 11. Okay, it found in user bin only. Fine, very good. Where it found move user bin echo. Okay, now these files are not required. Fine. Docker build. Okay, now everything is success. I want to run this. If you see this error, what is this error? Failed to create shim echo executable file not found
Not
in the
found.
path. Previously, we are I explained the same thing when I moved. If I do here ls, what is the error I got? ls not found, file not found. Right? Same error. Echo file not found. So whenever you are executing in the executable form, when you kept something echo, this command should be there in the path. If this command is not there in the path, you will see these kind of errors. So that's why I want. So what is path? Again, let's say your developer has developed some application. It is our responsibility to package that. Let's say the Java application is java-zar app.zar. This is the application which should be running. So Java should be there, and app.jar also should be available in the path location. Let's say you are running some shell script. Even for shell script should be available in the path. When I am saying like this, when I am using like this CMD, if I run test.sh, this test.sh should be kept in the path before running the CMD. That is what I'm trying to say. So here it is not using shell. I previously told you. When you are using executable form, it will not use shell. It itself run as a command. So then it is our duty to keep this in the path. How you keep this? Let's say if your current working directory is /application, then you have to keep this path. How? Run path equal to /application $path. Now you are adding /application to the existing path, and then this will work. Try this as an assignment, you will understand, right? Hope I am clear in explaining what I am trying to explain.
Yes. Just share this text file, Chenna.
Sure. So what I'm trying to explain, if your command is not there in the path, any path, let's say you have built one Go application and you are keeping the binary here in the /application folder itself, but you are running that Go here, then the application is not, the built binary is not there in the path, then it will not run. That's why this you have to set the path before you run the application. That is what I'm trying to say. Hope you are clear, guys. Am I making sense or you overboard?
No, it is clear for me.
Okay, good. Yeah, thank you guys. That's it for today. Next weekend there won't be any class as I have some planned activity. So next class will be on 29th, and on the day I will explain Docker network and volumes. After that I will show you a demo, real-time application, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Till then, please practice whatever has told today. The more you practice, you will remember, or else.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.